The Mona Lisa mystery. Why is it world's most famous painting? For the past 5 centuries, the Mona Lisa, which was painted by Leonardo da Vinci between the years 1503 and 1519, has been shown in the Louvre Museum, where it is protected by bulletproof glass and attracts thousands of crowded viewers every day. Even though it is the most well-known picture in the world, people who can get a good look at the artwork are likely to be perplexed by the fact that it is a modest portrait of a woman who is not very remarkable. Her attire is rather subdued. She is wearing dark robes, a translucent veil, and lacks any jewelry. Her smile and glance have been the subject of a great deal of discussion, but viewers may still be curious about the reason for all the excitement. There are several secrets surrounding the piece, one of which is the cause of its popularity. This mystery is in addition to the enigmas surrounding the sitter's identity and her mysterious appearance. Even though numerous hypotheses have been proposed to identify a single cause for the art piece's fame, the most compelling reasons maintain that there is no single explanation. Numerous random occurrences, in conjunction with the painting's innate allure, have contributed to the widespread recognition of the Mona Lisa. What is it about the Mona Lisa that makes it so famous? The Mona Lisa is without a doubt one of the most amazing paintings ever created. Even as Leonardo was working on it, it was already highly respected, and his contemporaries reproduced the three-quarter position, which was considered unique at the time. After some time had passed, the author Giorgio Vasari praised Leonardo's ability to closely reproduce other natural phenomena. The Mona Lisa is indeed an extremely lifelike portrait. The subject's face, which is softly sculptural, demonstrates Leonardo's skilled manipulation of sfumato, which is an artistic technique that models shape by employing subtle gradations of light and shadow. It also demonstrates his awareness of the skull beneath the skin. The carefully painted veil, the intricately crafted tresses, and the painstaking representation of folded fabric are all examples of Leonardo's meticulous attention to detail and unending patience. In addition, viewers today can perceive the sitter's ambiguous look. Even though the sitter's steady stare and reserved grin were not considered to be mysterious until the 19th century. A complicated human being is depicted in Leonardo's painting, which is a complex figure in its own right. On the other hand, numerous academics have pointed out that the exceptional quality of the Mona Lisa was not sufficient on its own to make the painting a superstar. There are a great deal of paintings. There were also external factors that contributed to the fame of the artwork. The fact that the picture is housed in the Louvre, which is widely considered to be one of the most visited museums in the world, is a fortunate occurrence that has contributed to the work's elevated status. It was through a winding route that it made its way to the Louvre, beginning with Francis I, King of France, in whose court Leonardo spent the latter years of his life. The artwork was subsequently added to the royal collection, and for several centuries after that, the image was kept hidden away in French palaces. However, the Revolution of 1848 declared the royal collection to be the property of the people. After spending some time in the bedroom of Napoleon, the Mona Lisa was eventually moved to the Louvre Museum at the turn of the 19th century. The painting gained more and more recognition as the number of people who visited the Louvre increased. The French author Théophile Gautier referred to her as a strange being, her gaze promising unknown pleasures, while other individuals went on to talk of her perfidious lips and her smile that was beguiling. The author Walter Pater, who was from England, went so far as to refer to her as a vampire who has been dead many times and learned the secrets of the grave on multiple occasions. The Mona Lisa continues to be defined by the air of mystery that surrounded it in the 19th century, and it continues to be the subject of discussion. In the meantime, the 19th century was also a time when Leonardo was made out to be a genius, to a lesser extent than his acclaimed contemporaries Michelangelo and Raphael. He was held in high esteem throughout the years that followed his death, albeit not to the same extent. As the interest in the Renaissance increased in the 19th century, however, Leonardo became increasingly widely recognized not only as a very talented painter, but also as a great scientist and inventor whose designs prefigured later innovations. This is something that has been observed by several academics. Even though many of his purported inventions were later disproved and his contributions to science and architecture were seen to be insignificant, the notion that Leonardo da Vinci was a genius has persisted far into the 21st century, which is one of the factors that has contributed to the widespread appeal of the Mona Lisa. However, the theft of the painting in 1911 and the subsequent media frenzy brought it to the attention of people all over the world. The writers of the 19th century were the ones who initially sparked interest in the Mona Lisa. After 2 years, the picture was discovered in Italy. This occurred after an art dealer in Florence informed the authorities that a guy had approached him intending to sell the painting. Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian immigrant to France, was the individual in question. He had previously worked at the Louvre for a short period, while fitting glass on several paintings, one of which was the Mona Lisa. One of the workers, along with 2 others, removed the image from the wall, concealed it in a closet for the night, and then made off with it the next morning. Due to the attention that the picture received from the media, Peruggia was unable to sell it, so he concealed it in the false bottom of a trunk until he was apprehended. During the time that the picture was traveling throughout Italy, before making its triumphal return to the Louvre, he was put on trial, found guilty, and sentenced to prison for the theft. Then, a significant number of French citizens developed the perception that the work was a national treasure that they had misplaced and then rediscovered. The crime undoubtedly contributed to the increased fame of the Mona Lisa. Nonetheless, World War I quickly became the primary focus of attention all around the world. The humorous defacement of a postcard print by Marcel Duchamp in 1919 is credited by some academics with reviving interest in the Mona Lisa and initiating a trend that would eventually make the painting one of the most well-known in the entire globe. For example, he drew a beard and mustache on the face of the lady and added the abbreviation LHOOQ at the bottom of the drawing, which was meant to suggest a vulgar term in French. He did this to play against the adoration of art. The irreverent act that was committed resulted in a minor scandal, and other clever artists saw that a gag like that would bring them notice. Other artists, most notably Andy Warhol, continued to do the same thing for decades after that. During the time that artists were manipulating, disfiguring, and playing with reproductions of the Mona Lisa, cartoonists and advertising professionals were further exaggerating her. Even among people who had little interest in art, the sitter's face became one of the most well-known in the world as a result of the painting's endless reproduction over several decades, during which time technology advanced to the point where it was sometimes modified and other times it was not. The picture was elevated to the position of a celebrity after it was exhibited in the United States in 1963 and for the first time in Japan in 1974. It is estimated that around 40,000 people visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City and the National Gallery of Art in Washington, District of Columbia, each day during the Mona Lisa's 6-week stay in the United States. The Mona Lisa traveled to the United States in a cabin that contained no less than first-class seating on an ocean liner. In Japan, almost 10 years later, the portrait was met with large throngs of people. Furthermore, during the latter half of the 20th century, as travel has become more accessible, an increasing number of people have been able to visit Paris and pay their respects in person, which has contributed to the stubborn crowds that are present today. Even though the Mona Lisa is undeniably a work of art, no one reason has contributed to its widespread fame. The Mona Lisa has become the most famous painting in the history of the world due to a multitude of factors, including its fortunate arrival at the Louvre, the myth-making that occurred during the 19th century, and the endless reproductions that have occurred during the 20th and 21st centuries. These factors have all worked together to make the Mona Lisa the most famous painting in the world. If you watched this far, please share your thoughts in the comments box below for more fascinating subjects. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.